Oh, got a new koi pond. The one I have out here is too small to move my fish from my grow space in my garage out here to the backyard. So I am going to put this one together. If I remember correctly, the other one was pretty hard to put together. This one's round instead of square. Might be easier, I'm not sure. I probably won't even film putting it together. I'll probably just do it before and after. Because I don't really... This is a plant channel. Does anybody care? I don't know. But I'm excited. So, there aren't any directions. Go figure. You know, have a bad habit of not looking at directions, and when I really want them, there aren't any. Came with a nice repair kit, though. Has some different vinyl repair stuff and some O-rings. I looked at these inputs and outputs in case I should want to hard plumb, and they have O-rings on them, but they're different from the ones that are in here, so I'm not totally sure what to do here. I guess I'll just have to find a picture and see if I can't figure it out. That went much smoother than I thought it would. Really quick, really easy. Now I just need to fill it up to do a leak check, and then tomorrow I'll be installing it over there. I have to dig out the whole perimeter and level it, and it's 101 degrees, so it's going to have to wait till early tomorrow morning. But for now, let's hope it doesn't leak. It's also really tall. Why is it so tall? Well, it's time for an upgrade. Now, if you've watched my videos back in the winter times, then you know that I have a very large pond in my garage. It's like a pop-up pond, similar to the one I just showed you, but a little bit larger. And I use that to raise fish in, and then I use that water also to water my plants, because it helps reinvigorate the soil. It's got lots of good natural stuff in it. The problem is the fish have grown so much that this, being where I would normally store them during the summer, so that, can park cars in the garage, this is no longer big enough. So, hence, this, much bigger. The problem is the fish are goldfish, and goldfish really like more surface area. So this probably won't be filled to the top, but this is 3 times the size of this one. So I've gone ahead, I used to have reeds wrapped around the sides, and it was full of plants. The plants are all over here now, just a mess of things. Pine tree was not in here. And now I'm going to save some of the water. Right now I have the pump running kind of in a crazy manner, trying to just sort of hyper-saturate the water with oxygen. And I have to dig this whole area out, clean it up, and level it. That's going to be a chore. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on that, and hopefully it won't be anywhere near as bad as I'm anticipating. Decided to tip it to get the rest of the water out, and then the water filled in the spot I have to dig out. Whoops. I remembered there's a French drain that runs all the way through here. It actually is 3 drains. So I think this was just clogged. I went ahead and I raked everything out. Tried to pull some mud up from the bottom, and it looks like it's finally draining now. Now I have dug the hole out. The problem is, I know it looks like there's less water, but that's because I've been backfilling rock in to level it out. The water level actually has not gone down at all. And that's not because of displacement, because I dug it out before I started filling it back in. The water level stayed the same. So what that means is that this is how high the water table is right now. The ground is completely saturated. We've had a lot of rain in the last 12 hours. So I may just have to hold off on this, or fill the whole thing in completely and just level it. Ultimately, I wanted this to be lower than this wall. I don't know if I can even dig it down quite that deep, because there's drainage that runs through here, and there's electrical conduit too. It's in PVC pipe, I'm not worried about cracking into the PVC, but I don't know if I can even go deep enough to even make it lower than the wall. I just want to make it look nice, because that's kind of a challenge to make this look nice. So I think what I'm probably going to do is go ahead and just fill it in, level it out, because this is only going to be running for about 5 months. I'll be breaking it down in probably mid-December, moving the fish back into the garage, into the grow space, and next year this will be set up March through mid-December. At that point it'll be up for 10 months, and I will be able to devote more time to going ahead and making sure that this is all leveled out and dug out properly. I may even end up doing something completely different next year. for now, I'm going to try filling it in and leveling out a space. See how that goes. That's finally done. This end may appear a little bit higher than that end, but that's because the ground slopes this way, so I needed to bring it up so that it's more level. The way this koi vat is what it's called is set up, I don't really want the weight to all be shifted on one side. It needs to be evenly distributed. I should probably talk about why there's cardboard boxes on the ground. That is because this is going to be the underlayment that helps keep rocks from poking up through the liner. The liner on this thing is really sturdy, and these are all smooth stones. But just to be safe, I'm using cardboard for now. Next year, I'll use like probably a proper underlayment. But this will do for now. It's what I got, and I don't think that even if I hadn't used this, I don't think the rocks would have come up through the liner anyways. So now it's time to start setting up the pond. Is it level? You think this is level? I know this looks like crap. I'm not thrilled with how incredibly hideous this thing is, but I'm gonna do my best to make it look pretty when it's done. For now, need to make sure it's level so I can start filling. Looks level. Right across the center there. Looks level. Try it this way. All right, not quite. That's okay. I want it to slope this way towards the drains, just a hair. Same thing. Looking good. Let's start filling. Here we go. Filling this up is going to take a while, and every now and then I'm going to come through. I'm going to make adjustments to help make sure that it stays level and get the wrinkles out of the bottom. So I still wouldn't consider this to be perfect, but it's a definite improvement. Still looks pretty garbagey, I think. Need to cut up the excess cardboard, backfill the rock. I was thinking about wrapping another layer of the reeds around. I had to run to Home Depot to pick up some more reeds. But this stuff doesn't hold up that great to the weather. It's cheap. It's like it was $23.99 for the big thing of it. I think I recorded me picking it up. And the roll's long enough, or tall enough for me to cut it in half and have two uses out of it. So I think I might just stick with the one for now, because from far away, I don't think you can really tell probably that you can see through it. And that way I have the leftovers to use for next. And this stuff really sucks to cut, so I kind of just don't feel like doing it. Got some more gravel spread out here. I definitely need to go buy more. These Mexican beach pebbles are stupid expensive, so they may have to wait a little bit longer, but I think I probably need another 3 bags. So what I've done here, I went ahead and I filled this up some more. Filled it up much higher than it's going to stay, because koi jumps. I want the water to be lower than this, but I need to get these plant baskets anchored in. And in order to do that, I put some milk crates in there, and to hold them at the right height for me. So I'm going to zip tie them onto the edge. I learned that from Rachel O'Leary. So check her out. She does a whole series on Subber TUBBIN, and it's awesome. And that zip tie tip is like one of the best things ever. So I'm going to zip tie the edge of these pots to the sides. I have this big papyrus, this great big papyrus here. That thing is going to be a challenge to get in by myself, so that might have to wait. But it goes in the center, so it'd be easiest probably to do that one first, wouldn't you think? Yep, that's what we'll do. Another change of plans. This papyrus desperately needs a repotting, and I don't have any organic potting mix. When I was at Home Depot picking up this reed fencing, I looked around. The only organic potting mix they had also had something in it to hold water. I assume that they just mean it has a lot of peat in it, but I still prefer to not buy that. So for now, I'm going to use the milk crates to get these baskets up, and then I will just use the milk crate to set the papyrus on and anchor it with zip ties to the edge through the rhizomes. Probably the most sturdy place to do it. The reason I don't want to leave them on milk crates is because the goldfish really prefer to have a lot of area to swim around. They don't really care that much about the depth of the water. And the space they're in now has more surface area than this does. It's not a lot more in gallons. I want them to have as much room as possible to swim around on the bottom without being disturbed. And those milk crates do take up a fair amount of space. And there we go. Definitely still work to be done. But the structure, the integrity, the bones, that's all worked out now. So now it's the fun part, which is the fine details. I left the dirty filter pads in here so that this will stay somewhat cycled. I'm going to be using the biological media from my other pond in here so I can move the fish over quickly, but I am still going to go ahead and let this run for a day or two before I move them in here. I have the plants in. It's probably also a good time to clean up the water lilies. It's easy enough to do, just boom. And yeah, and that's why there's so much cleaning up to do. That's not how to do things. You should really, I think, pull these from the bottom, but you know, I did it again. There we go. Alright, that's going to do it for today. I hope everybody's doing well. If you haven't already and would like to, don't forget to like and subscribe. I try and upload multiple times a week. Typically things are more plant-based, but this has a plant theme behind it. I will be using this for propagation and aquaponics and whatnot. So, hope everybody's doing well. Keep on growing. Bye-bye.